Tenkara is an old Japanese method of fly fishing that doesn't use a reel. A fixed amount of line is attached to the end of the rod, and the angler casts the fly similar to the way they would a traditional fly rod. Most Tenkara rods are between 11 and 13 feet long. These long rods are perfect for the high stick style of fishing we do so often in the Smokies. There are many places in the Smokies where it's difficult, if not impossible, to get a good drift with a conventional fly rod. Long Tenkara rods are perfect to cast across strong currents and boulders where mending line is not practical.
Contrary to what many think, Tenkara is not dapping. You cast the rod similar to a fly rod, but the motion is easier to master. Since there's no reel or line to strip, you simply lift the rod, tilting the rod tip back and away from your body to bring the fish in. There are specialty flies to use with the Tenkara rod, but most of the dry flies and nymphs we already use in the Smokies work just great.
One of the most appealing aspects of Tenkara is how light it is and easy to carry. These very long rods collapse to barely 18 inches long. This makes them ideal for hiking and backpacking. Tenkara rods and leaders can be set up very quickly, usually in less than 60 seconds. There are two types of Tenkara leaders, furled leaders and level line. Both are attached to the tip of the rod by a short length of cord called the lilian. Furled leaders have a loop on the butt. Pull the butt through the loop to create another loop that will cinch down on the lilian. There is a small knot in the end of the lilian that prevents the leader from sliding off. After the leader is attached, you can go ahead and telescope the rod. We usually attach about 3 feet of 3X tippet to the end of the leader, then another 3 feet of 5X where we tie on the fly. Never use anything lighter than 5X because the rods are so light. The total length of this leader is 16 feet with 10 feet of furled leader and 6 feet of tippet. Add that to a 13-foot rod and you have quite a reach that will fish on most large stream. Leaders can also be made from level line, which is heavy monofilament or fluorocarbon. Furled leaders are a fixed length and can't be shortened, but level lines can be made to any length. Simply place a slip knot in the end of your level line and cinch it down over the lilian. The bulk of the leader will be made with the level line, but you will also add tippet just the way you did with the furled leader. Both types of leaders are reusable and should last you for many trips. At the end of the day, just wind them onto a spool and remove them from the lilian. At this point, it's time to go fishing.
This is a spot we've eyed for years, but never had much success. A small back eddy against the rocks holds rising fish, but the swift current in the center of the river was so fast a fly would drag away no matter how much we mend the line. The long reach of the Tenkara rod and the light leader made a perfect drift. Just ask this trout. Long Tenkara rods also allow an angler to stay further back from where the fish are feeding and still get a good drift. This is really helpful in the Smokies where our wild trout are very skittish. This angler was able to hook this fish on the other side of the river.
Tenkara rods are relatively inexpensive and the whole method is very easy to learn. We're having a great time using this relatively new method in the Smokies on our old home waters and having a blast guiding with it. Until next time, this is Ian and Charity Rudder for R&R Fly Fishing.